Today on the CTV News at 5, victory.
We remain more than a collection of red states and blue states. We are and forever will be the United States of America.
And defeat.
We have given our all to this campaign.
4 more years of Obama, but he's facing a divided Congress. Plus, why there likely won't be a trial in Lethbridge's first ever double homicide. And how smoking in the boys' room caused the evacuation of an entire high school.
CTV News with Jackie Scantlebury.
Good afternoon. An historic night south of the border as Barack Obama wins a second term in the White House. It was one of the closest presidential elections in U.S. history. But in the end, Americans opted to give Obama 4 more years. As Omar Sachedina reports, the president still has a long road ahead.
Walking out with his wife Michelle and daughters Sasha and Malia, Barack Obama stepped onto the stage in front of a cheering crowd of thousands in Chicago.
Michelle, I have never loved you more. I have never been prouder to watch the rest of America fall in love with you too, as our nation's first lady.
Months of campaigning in a fierce fight for a second term, Obama thanked his campaign team, his supporters, and reassured a nation divided that he will bring them together.
And we remain more than a collection of red states and blue states. We are and forever will be the United States of America.
The scene in sharp contrast to the atmosphere at Mitt Romney's camp in Boston, where disappointment and defeat were etched on people's faces. Romney also appearing with his family, graciously ending a journey that began with his father George, who also ran for president.
We have given our all to this campaign. I so wish that I had been able to fulfill your hopes to lead the country in a different direction, but the nation chose another leader, and so Ann and I join with you to earnestly pray for him and for this great nation.
Even on Election Day, Romney tried hard to clinch the key battleground state of Ohio, which proved pivotal in this campaign. But ultimately, voters there went for Obama, who supported the auto industry bailout, something Romney opposed. The Latino vote also proving crucial. Most supported Obama instead of Romney, whose get-on-tough immigration policies during the primaries may have hurt his chances. But as the Republicans rehash their strategy, the Democrats celebrate their success, rallying behind a man who said he needed a second term to finish what he started. The day after, and there is already talk of Obama's long and tough road ahead. With the Democrats in control of the Senate and a Republican majority in the House of Representatives, Congress is still bitterly divided, and Obama's tough task bridging the two sides. Omar Sachedina, CTV News, Washington.
Prime Minister Stephen Harper offered his congratulations to President Obama on behalf of Canadians.
I congratulate President Obama on his victory. I know it was a very hard-fought election, and we look forward to working with the president for the next 4 years. We've had a very good and productive working relationship. We're both focused on jobs and growth in the global economy, particularly in North America.
Meantime, celebrations for Obama's victory extended around the globe, everywhere from Kenya, where Obama's father was born, to Europe, where Americans abroad watched the results come in from France, Italy, and Germany. And while Americans were experiencing the election last night, many Canadians were watching the process with some very keen interest. Terry Vogt reports.
It's recycling day for Doreen Trapp. But her feelings about environmental issues aren't the only reason she was hoping for Barack Obama in the U.S. presidential election.
Well, I figure he can speak good and the people really take to him.
That seems to be the sentiment for many Southern Albertans.
I just like Obama. You know, he's tried his hardest and that, so he's had a heck of a time the last 4 years trying to, with Bush's mistakes and that.
Were you hoping for Obama though, or?
I was, but no particular reason, I don't think.
Political science students at the University of Lethbridge say Obama also appeared to be the overwhelming choice on campus.
Romney has said very disparaging remarks against a good portion of the population, and I just find that Obama is more accepting of all people rather than just the top 53%.
Whether they're supporting Obama or Romney, these students admit there is something appealing about U.S. politics.
The hostility, the polarization between the two parties, between the Democrats and Republicans, has definitely increased within the last 15 years, and so debates have become a lot more hostile, policies have become a lot more polarized, and the electorate itself is becoming a lot more polarized.
And even though what Canadians think doesn't affect the outcome, many Southern Albertans say the U.S. election does matter to Canada.
Well, because we're right close to them. They're our neighbors to the south.
We have a very close trade relationship with the Americans, and so whoever is president there will affect our economy as well.
Terry Vogt, CTV News, Lethbridge.
To Dory now in the forecast, and Dory Environment Canada has issued a special weather statement for southern Alberta. That's never good news.
Yeah, it's never a good thing. No, here we go again. We just got rid of the snow. Everything melted, had a few mild days, and now we've got another blast of winter-like weather. Hard to believe that winter officially doesn't start until late next month, but right now we are going to be experiencing that starting tonight in the form of shower activity. It'll be shifting overnight to snow and more coming tomorrow. I'll tell you all about it in a couple of minutes.
Thanks, Dory. Well, the case against a Lethbridge man charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder is not going to trial. Cody Blue Favell is charged in the stabbing deaths of 35-year-old Marty Steele and 30-year-old Aaron Thacker last May. A preliminary inquiry into the city's first double homicide was set for this morning, but has now been canceled. Court was told that Favell is planning to plead guilty later this week. Our Alicia Fieldberg spoke with the victim's family and friends about the possibility of resolving the case sooner than expected.
Emotions were high at a preliminary hearing scheduled for the city's first double homicide. Some people were even asked to leave court for remarks or gestures. But the inquiry didn't proceed because the man accused is planning to enter a guilty plea. Family and friends of the 2 men killed aren't comforted by the possibility of an early wrap-up to the case.
Both my mom and dad are just distraught, torn right apart.
Police say Aaron Thacker and Marty Steele were stabbed to death in a North Lethbridge park in May. Their loved ones say Marty was a good soul and Aaron loved his family and the outdoors.
They're just a couple of good guys out having some fun. I mean, it could be anybody. It really could be anybody. When you're dealing with violent repeat offenders, there's no telling what they're going to do.
28-year-old Cody Blue Favell is charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder, robbery, and weapons offenses. Neither lawyer will give details on which charges he'll plead guilty to.
We put the matter over to Friday, at which time we expect that this matter will be resolved by the entry of some guilty pleas.
The prosecutor wanted to speak with the families of the victims in this case, which is most appropriate.
Should be murder 1 as far as I'm concerned, because he had a weapon with him, and that's intent. And it should be 2 counts of murder 1.
Though Favell's expected to enter a guilty plea Friday, there's still a few steps, including a psychological exam to take place. This means sentencing won't likely happen until early in the new year. Alicia Fieldberg, CTV News, Lethbridge.
The matter will be back in court Friday morning at 9:30. Family and friends of Cody Favell didn't want to comment. A former Medicine Hat man convicted of murdering his wife in North Carolina is appealing. 39-year-old Bradley Cooper is serving life in prison for the first-degree murder of his wife Nancy in 2008. The couple met and married in Edmonton, then moved to North Carolina. When their marriage fell apart, Nancy went missing and was later found murdered. In his appeal, Cooper claims the judge erred by not allowing the jury to hear testimony from 2 defense computer experts. Searches of Cooper's computer in the months after the murder were a key part of his conviction. Cranbrook RCMP are looking for help after a pedestrian was hit by a vehicle, but the driver didn't stop. The victim suffered non-life-threatening injuries. It happened as the man was crossing 5th Street near 7th Avenue in Cranbrook Tuesday around 1 p.m. Now, the victim believes that he was hit by an older model Cadillac being driven by an older woman. If you have any information, please contact either Cranbrook RCMP or Crime Stoppers. Students at Chinook High School are coming together to help support a classmate who was injured in a bus accident earlier this week. Addison Vandeveld's arm was crushed by a school bus after she slipped and fell Monday morning. The 16-year-old was taken to Calgary Hospital, where she underwent 10 hours of surgery as doctors attempted to save her arm. Melissa Benedict and Sandy Kadir were the first on scene and called EMS. Classmates are donating funds raised by their production of Snow White, as well as other donations to her family and recovery efforts.
And we just had an overwhelming response last night to the point where all the tickets were sold. The people were coming in with donations, and it was just a great feeling to see. You know, no matter what anyone says about young people nowadays, our young people are pretty special.
A paramedic tells CTV Addie will have to undergo as many as 8 more surgeries over the next 3 weeks alone. There still is a chance that doctors will be forced to amputate. Everybody knows that smoking ain't allowed in school, and this morning it ended with an entire high school being evacuated. Staff and students at Kate Andrews High School in Coaldale were forced to clear the building after a fire broke out in one of the boys' washrooms. School officials say it was confined to a garbage receptacle. There were no injuries, no major damage. Coaldale firefighters used large fans to ventilate the hallways. Staff and students were allowed to return to classes about an hour later when the air quality was deemed safe. Fire investigators say it appears the fire was caused by a discarded cigarette.
We were able to view some video of the hallway. We found the youth that entered the bathroom. He pretty quickly confessed to smoking in the washroom. And at this time it appears to be an unintentional fire.
Operation Red Nose is anticipating its biggest year to date, fresh off the heels of their most successful year ever. University Athletic Director Sandy Slavin officially kicked off the 18th year of the campaign this afternoon. The service provides rides home for patrons and their vehicles after a night out on the town. The initiative is fully supported by Lethbridge Regional Police, and funds go towards supporting athlete scholarships. Slavin says they're already fielding calls asking when the service will begin and if they're in need of a large number of volunteers.
We're encouraging people to go out and have a good time, and that we will get them and their vehicle home safely. And we've really strived to have enough volunteers on every night so that we can try to get to someone within 30 minutes of getting that phone call so they're not tempted to get in their car.
So to have a program such as this to give people an alternative means of getting home on top of buses, designated driver programs or cabs, it's fantastic to see that this is out there making our roads safer for everybody.
Operation Red Nose begins November the 30th. To volunteer, you can call 403-329-2681. And in the markets today, another day of uncertainty as there are a lot of questions as to what the direction of the U.S. economy will be. Markets are now.